Stop attracting the wrong kind of men. What kind of men have you been attracting? Have you been settling? Listen, girl, I know what you've been going through. I've been in these streets in my 20s, so I know. Even though now I'm off the streets, but I've kissed a couple of frogs, so I can relate. Now, here are the kinds of men I think you should avoid. Number one, the man that is not clear with his intentions. You don't know what exactly you're doing. Are you in a relationship? Are you in a situationship? You don't know. And when you ask him, what does he say? Babe, let's see how it goes. I'm enjoying how things are. Let's not push it. Let's not rush. Let's get to know each other better. I says, all of this is just to play with your mind. Because the truth of the matter is, when you ask guys, when you've spoken to a couple of guys like I have, they'll tell you that 99% of the time, a guy already knows what he wants from a girl. When he meets a girl, he already knows, after a couple of interactions, he already knows, oh, I want to date this person, oh, I see a future with this person, or I just want something casual with this person. So when he keeps being vague about what exactly he wants from you, says, please find somebody else. Number two kind of man that you should avoid is the man who has not told you exactly what he does. He's not clear about his job description. He's not clear about what he does for a living. You find nowadays, yes, there are a lot of jobs that are remote, they work from home and all that, and they are legit, that's fine. But there are some of these men that keep telling you, I work from home, I'm a remote worker, I'm into forex trading, and at the end of the day, says he is not into any of those things. He's either jobless, into something dodgy, or what about the ones that say, oh, I have aspirations? Start telling you what they hope to achieve. He's in his 30s, he's in his late 30s, and he's still telling you about dreams without showing you any concrete thing that he has done. Okay, let's even say he has dreams and he's in his 30s. That's perfectly fine. But let's see workings. Let's see that you've been making attempts, you've been taking little steps, you've started the project, you're saving towards that project, you've made what's it called? You've made projections regarding that project that you want to do, or towards that aspiration that you have. Let's see workings. It's very important. If you have a guy that is in his 30s or late 20s and he has nothing concrete to show for his finances or for what he does for a living, says the third kind of man that you want to avoid are men that are poor communicators. These kind of men, whenever there's an issue or you guys are having an argument, they shut down in the sense that they run away from conflicts. Conflict, not in the sense that you guys want to fight each other or anything, but you're having a disagreement and they just completely shut down. They don't want to talk about it. Oh, babe, you did this. Please, I don't want to talk about it. And it's okay to not want to talk about it at that point. But does he ever circle back to talking about it with you? Does he ever circle back to trying to resolve the issue with you? Or does he just shut you off completely and say, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. In fact, there are some men, in fact, my hobby, whenever there was an argument while we're dating, and we have this argument and we leave it off at that point, and then he calls me back, he just acts like nothing happened. He just starts talking about something else completely. And that to me, consider the kind of person I am, I like to resolve conflict. So what I do is most times I just give him that, I just allow him, and then maybe in the next call, I'll now tell him that, look, babe, let's circle back to what happened. Let's resolve it so that going forward, this won't be an issue in our relationship. And that's something that really helps. So if you find a guy that's a poor communicator and then you address it with him and tell him, babe, we need to address this issue so that going forward it doesn't cause any resentment, doesn't cause any further conflict. And he's not willing to still communicate, he's not willing to, resolve that issue with you, then he's not somebody that wants to even learn at all. So such a person I don't think you want to be with such a person, because the thing about not resolving conflict is that it lingers, it causes resentment, and then you still at another point in time face that issue again. So it's just something that keeps circling and going round and round. The fourth kind of man you want to avoid being in a relationship with are men that are into porn, men that love to watch pornographic movies. Listen, men like this are usually very addicted to it, especially the ones that are very addicted to it. You want to stay away from them because the thing about porn is that it makes them selfish in the sense that they don't have time to satisfy their woman because they're so fixated on porn and satisfying themselves. Another thing about porn is that those porn stars, listen, they are paid to do what they do. They take enhancers to be that active and to do all those many, many styles that you, as the woman in a relationship, you may not be able to compete with what the porn stars do. Another thing about men that are so fixated on porn is that, or that are so addicted to porn, is that they begin to have these fantasies and they expect you as their woman to do those fantasies with them. And you may not be comfortable doing those things. So if I were you, once you see or notice that that man is into porn and he's addicted to porn, you want to stay away from such men. Now, the next kind of people, the next kind of man to avoid is a man that gambles. Listen, the thing about gambling is it may start off small. It may start off, betting or, going to um, do some gaming and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, he gets addicted to it. He begins to invest much more money into it. He begins to put in his salary, his income into it. And then, of course, the thing is that the thing about gambling is that there's some kind of hope it gives that you're going to hit it big. And the truth about the matter is that a large percentage of them never make it. They never hit it big. They end up, squandering their money, squandering their family's income. In fact, there was a movie I watched where the man literally ended up gambling away his children's tuition, children's school fees that they have been saving all their working years. The parents, the man and his wife, had been saving up for their kids, for them to be able to go to good colleges, good universities, and all of that money he took behind his wife and gambled away. And that ended up ruining the marriage because the truth of the matter is no woman is going to stay with such a man after doing such a terrible, terrible thing. So gambling leads to financial crisis for a family, for a home, for a marriage. It leads to dishonesty, and at the end of the day, it crumbles a marriage. So you want to avoid such kind of men. Another kind of man to avoid when looking to go into a relationship as an elegant woman, as a classy woman, is a man that is into gaming. Now he does not betting or putting any money into the gaming, but he's always spending his time pressing games. To the point that, in fact, such men, you might end up, he might end up competing with his children on who should be playing the games in the house. So you want to avoid such kind of men. It's okay for a guy, guys like to play games, that's fine. But when you see that it's getting too much, every time you call him, he's playing game. Every time you come to visit him, he's playing games. It takes up too much of his time. Because if it's taking up too much of his time, then what time does he have to work? What time does he have to create and to make wealth? So you don't want that kind of man as an elegant woman. The next kind of man to avoid are men that are flamboyant party boys. Emphasis on boys, because a man will not be focused on living a flamboyant life and his focus is filled with going to parties. It's okay to party once in a while. It's okay to live a luxurious lifestyle, to spend on yourself, to wear the most luxurious outfits and all that. It's fine, as long as you can afford it. But the truth of the matter is, even if you can afford it, you don't go around investing all of your money in being flamboyant, in attending all the best parties. Because such a man ends up ruining his finances. He's not planning, he's not saving for the rainy day, he's not planning, he's not saving for his future family. And he not only finishes his own wealth, but begins to dip his hand into your own finances as his woman. And besides, a man is focused on creating more wealth. A man is focused on growing his wealth, not on spending it all at once. Now, another kind of man also that I think you should avoid as an elegant woman who is trying to date and who's trying to find um, her life partner is the kind of man who has poor life skills. Poor life skills in the sense that he doesn't know how to cook, he doesn't know how to take care of his environment, he's not organized. Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of men feel like it's the place of the woman to take care of the home. It's the place of the woman to know how to cook. It's the place of the woman to know how to organize the home. But no, cooking, organizational skills are human skills. They are social skills that everybody, every gender should know how to do. Now, imagine this. You marry a man who doesn't have these skills, and then you get pregnant, or you're ill, or for some reason, or you have this board meeting, or something important to do. And he's just there. He can't do anything on his own. He can't take care of you when you're sick, when you're pregnant. He cannot cook for you. He cannot organize the home simply, and then the home is dirty, it's disorganized. There's no food because he cannot cook. He cannot take care of the home because you're incapacitated for one reason or the other, or because you have some major deal or meeting to go and close. You don't want that kind of person. And I know it's okay. You can say, oh, I will get maids, we can afford maids and all of that. But what happens when that maid is not available? What happens when that nanny is not available? So these are things that you need to consider. The next kind of man that you want to avoid dating or going into a relationship with as a woman of elegance and a woman of class is a man that is an alcoholic. Now, of course, when you meet a drunk, you already know not to go into a relationship with that person. But how about the ones that are subtle, in the initial stage with their drinks? It's easy to go out and he's taking one shot, two shots, or a bottle or two of beer, and you think, okay, that's fine, that's okay. But then, before you know it, because these things are addictive, he begins to take a little more. He begins to drink at random times in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. So you want to be very cautious and watch your man to be sure, or your intended man to know if he's the type that, is just a regular person, a regular guy that drinks, or someone who can easily become an addict, who can easily become an alcoholic. You want to check to be sure. If it's a guy that, alcoholism is a disease, so it easily can creep up. It can go from, oh, he's stressed out, he's taking one drink, two drinks, and then what happens when, of course, as he keeps drinking, he's losing his attention at work, he's losing focus at work, and then he gets fired, and then he becomes a full-blown drunk because he's depressed, after losing his job. So you want to be very, very careful about that. Is this someone that can go to an event? What you should check for is try and notice if he's someone that can go to an event or two and not even take any drink at all. That's how you know that, okay, this one is just, a normal guy who drinks every once in a while, as opposed to someone that can easily get addicted to drinking. Now, last on my list is a guy who has different baby mamas. Now, this one is not just a red flag, it is a red billboard, because this already shows that he lacks, the ability to stay with one person, to be committed to one person. It also shows that he's irresponsible. He also shows that he doesn't value himself, because if he values himself and values his bloodline, he will not be going from one baby mama to the other. Now, there are situations where something can happen and maybe, the relationship didn't work out, and then there's a kid involved, or there's a marriage, and then there's a divorce. That's different. But if he keeps jumping from one baby mama to the other, from one woman to the other, and dropping his seed in different women, that already shows that he's not someone that likes commitment. It's not someone that you can easily commit to. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.